This is really the last instance that I see that this board has the opportunity to do what is right and carry out your kuleana. This matter has been carried forward to the point that it would be very easy for you to say, oh, and now it's too late. But I think that would be wrong. As stated, previous time I testified before you, and as Mayor Kenoi's criminal defense attorney said during his trial for theft, there is a different standard for determining wrongdoing in a criminal case, which requires a finding of specific intent, versus in the case of ethical standards, which only requires a finding that the charged party acted contrary to the county's ethical standards. The answer to the question whether Kenoi acted contrary to the county's ethical code is really a no-brainer. The substantive issue is the follow-up question. Do you, now that the mayor is about to leave office, have the authority to transmit the complaint to the council with an advisory opinion recommending an appropriate punishment? The common sense response is that you as a board do find Mayor Kenoi acted contrary to the ethical standards. He is blameworthy, and there should be consequences for his wrongdoing. In fact, he should be here admitting to that and apologizing and asking for forgiveness and accepting the consequences instead of having the attorneys come here and say, give us another pass. Without a doubt, Kenoi's actions violated the charter, including ethical standards 14-2B and C, which are pretty closely related. Let's just take the instance using his P-card for who knows whatever services at a Honolulu hostess bar. Certainly that alone is an activity, and I quote from the charter, which might reasonably tend to be incompatible with the proper discharge of their official duties, and as well using, quote, their official position to secure special privileges, consideration, treatment, or exemption to themselves beyond that which is available to every other person, which are in violation of those two provisions. Assuming you have the common sense and integrity to agree that those sections of the charter were violated, I suggest at minimum you recommend he voluntarily submit to community service. Say, for example, walking around the island in the footpath of recently deceased Good Samaritan Cliff Kopf and pick up trash along the highway. Do something and have some consequences. In addition, I would ask he apologize for his abuse of power. He did say he was sorry, but for what? Without specifying what the apology is for, it amounts to no more than an apology for getting caught. And concerning his use of alcohol, don't try to say it is no biggie, it's just part of island culture. Consider that earlier this year, someone who appeared to be one of the directors in his administration was drunk and driving on Saddle Road, returning to Hilo. And the police were alerted by 911 calls long before the vehicle reached Hilo. Yet despite the time to do so and the urgency conveyed, no police were dispatched to stop the life-endangering drunken driving. Is that the kind of party alcohol culture you want to condone here? Much has been said about how good guy Billy Kenoi is, and that he has done much good, and I agree with that. But in many ways, Billy Kenoi is a Dr. Heckle and Mr. Hyde. If you are on his team and play ball by agreeing that he is above the law and that all other government officials are subject to, then he is warm and friendly mayor. But on the other hand, if you are not, bend to his whims and wishes, he is vengeful, retaliatory, and callous. As one of his directors once said, I disagreed with him once and never again. He rewards those who acquiesce to his whims and bullying and punishes those who do not. He rules as a dictator, and I believe there are many who keep quiet out of fear, and which is what I see with the journalists who prior to did his bidding even before they came into their lucrative positions. When I first ran for council, Kenoi aggressively campaigned against me, threatening locals who supported me. What are you doing with that blank Howley? And once I elected, he repeatedly refused my request to meet with him about District 9 matters, and in public acted in a rude and disrespectful way. So I can appreciate why other council members and those in administration, and perhaps you on the board, are afraid of him. If this board now gives Kenoi a pass, there will be no closure either for his constituents or for Kenoi himself. He will not only have been found to be above the law, but he will be unaccountable for his unethical conduct. So the question of the day is, will you use one excuse or another and likewise give him a pass, or will you carry out the mission of this board and transmit this complaint to the council along with an advisory opinion as is provided for in the functions of the board set forth in the county charter? Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Wille, and I apologize for mispronouncing your name earlier. Thank you.